Hey guys, some technical difficulties as always. So, first in chat looks like Dennis Kelly. What's going on, buddy? How you doing, buddy? How you doing? Um, well, I hope everybody's doing well, and can make the stream. We'll see how it goes. And I'm just trying to figure out. I try to use different software, and once again, backfired and did not want to work. So most likely be getting rid of it. So I'm gonna stick with the OBS for now. StreamYard is something I really don't want to invest in yet. There's another one that's similar to that stream service. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, we're talking arms today. Then of course sketching something much light. Okay, I'm going to be discussing some. Yeah, that's really bright, huh? Pull back a little. Maybe we'll up on that thing. But anyway, anywho, all right. I did some rough sketching and stuff here earlier. Cancel here. Anyway, hopefully it's all live right now, and you guys can see me, hear me. It looks like on my end I am good. Let me know if it's otherwise you can't hear. All right, so I did say in description for this stream that it says hand drawing, but we're going to discuss pretty much the whole arm thing. And so from what I learned quite a bit is from what I learned over the years anyway is that hands and arms and drawing, it's so many different approaches really. I found simpler approaches, and I found loose approaches, tight approaches. I found direct and kind of straightforward, and some kind of indirect and really soft shapes and really light and rough block ends. What's up, Charlie? Welcome to the stream, buddy. So I'm going to discuss some of that as soon as I am as soon as I figure out this light in my camera is just so light. No, that's the wrong one. That's the art view. That's right. All right, filters. Okay. Not too much gamma, I think. All right. Now we're talking. I think that's better. Yeah, that's. Ooh, that eased up a little bit off of that light, so now we can see it a little bit better. All right, so simple explanations are, so there's a part of your torso here. Right, so part of your torso. Imagining adding shoulder, right? But let's just think about this one right here. So adding a shoulder. Trying to see if I can get the camera view a little bit better here. But it's almost straight on. But that's about as good as it's gonna get, guys. Without obstructing my view. All right. So think of it as, you know, cylindrical tubes, right? So if we add a cylindrical tube here, right? There you have an elbow, and then you can either think of it as a kind of a kind of decreasing width in one end, and or otherwise try to think of more of a more natural. So if you can do this, that's fine. Try that. Otherwise, try to give it a little bit of a round, like a softer shape. Okay. Even in focus. There we go. We're in focus. So give it that rounder shape, kind of a softer declining into decreasing into that kind of a thinner wrist here, right? And so then you have the hand, right? So when we're talking hand here, think of it as like as Jim Lee kind of teaches a lot of times. Just think of it as deformed pentagon. If you know you have pentagon like this, right? But you want to shift it a little bit here, a little to the side. So you have the middle finger larger, right? Some slight, and the rest of them kind of, you know, longer, shorter, and then you have the thumb. Okay. So with that said, you know, that's the same thing kind of applies here, but just depends on what kind of hand that you're drawing here. From here, you can start building a little bit more of muscle structures, right? So a lot of times I teach is that use lines and circles to start building your skeleton, and then just figure out the hand later. So once you have this kind of tube sections built up, right? Now, you know that's the trap attaches here, right? Something here. Then you have the collarbone comes through here, you know, the neck. Muscles wrap around. So you have the major delt here, side, rear, and the shorter one in the front here, right? And then you're gonna have pec muscles. So this one right here kind of separates this major group here, and then separates the rest of them here. And these guys just come from here and start building the rest of the muscles of your chest. So in this case here, so we have, you know, your all run-of-the-mill bicep, elongated since the arm is open. We're not gonna try to work on a super muscular person here, but let's just think of, so this is determining that the lower tricep we don't see there, right? It's underneath, wrapped around there, and then the smaller one, the shorter one, is right here, the top. Then you have the muscles wrap around here. Forearm starts. That's that muscle on the side of your forearm here. All right. Starts attaching here, and you got the elbow somewhere around here. So don't go too far, and don't cut it too short either. So beware of that. Then you can kind of draw a straight line here. You can, because this guy right here is muscles. This is the bone. So that muscle is just going to wrap around underneath here, and then you're going to have all these other muscles come out of you. Depends on how muscular or how much person is working with their hands, right? This right here is going to be almost thin. All right, from this angle. And then you're going to have the wrist knuckle right here. And start getting that hand here. Okay. So that is a kind of a basic idea of how I see the arm as when I start, drawing it. And kind of try to work from that and try to twist it, turn it. And a lot of times, I must admit that what helps me is being a kind of a gym rat for a while. Hey, Bay Ramasto, like a cup. That's it. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, when I start kind of you kind of start turning. There's same concept, right? So it's if it's looking right at you, right? Looking that tube here, there's this tube here. All right. There's that, you know, you're gonna have that crease here. Bicep is gonna fit somewhere over here. Once again, you're gonna start thinking, all right, so this little muscle right here is gonna take up a little bit more space. There's this part right here of the chest, and once again, the rest of that. And there's that the big part of the delt, right? There's the collarbone, strap. So you have that, then you're gonna have to build the bicep. So the bicep is gonna look flat here. It's still gonna look like it's gonna point slightly this way because I'm not gonna. And then this is gonna protrude more. This is gonna get thinner, and then this is that muscle right here that we don't really see as much. Is pronounced, and then mostly muscles. This one's gonna be mostly straight here, and then this arm is gonna get really, really thin. I'm just gonna show you some of these. Now in comics, difference is you can make it look as cool as you want to make it look by adding extra muscles, veins, whatever, you know, and see how it comes out, right? So there's this, and then, you know, hand is going to be kind of sideways here. So what happens with the hand sideways? Kind of, I draw on top of everything. So I wish I could zoom in more, but I can't. All right. So I draw on top of a lot of things and then erase a lot of things if I have to. So I'm assuming this right here would be this part of my hand. So if the person is relaxed, fingers most likely would be kind of bent. And then you have the this knuckle here, this, and thumb. And then the other fingers will be bent inside there, so you won't see them. You just shade them kind of a little bit. If you find it sometimes you find it a little awkward, try to look at your own hand and take photos of it from the side and whatever it does. Kind of use that. Okay. That's kind of the idea anyway here. So that's just kind of a simplified idea here. Now, I probably overdid it right here, made that distance too long, and I probably would have brought it up if I fixed it. I'm doing this on the fly, so if I fixed it, I probably brought it back over here, and then have the hand this way here. Now look how much difference this will make. Okay, proportionally, it was looking weird because it was too long. So we brought it back. There's this. There's this. Okay, so now it looks a little bit better from what it was sitting at before. Okay, just more proportional look, not so long and alien looking. All right. The back view, of course, the difference here is, all right, so you have the back view. Trapeze pretty much kind of runs in here, runs into this. There's that rear delt, and then it's going to run into the shoulder. and you know, your collarbone. There's muscles right here wraps around it, and this muscle, right? And then you have this drop here, and then basically it's just a tricep because. So if you have that tube here, so you have this muscle, that's the tricep, that's the longer one. And then you have the shorter one. You have your elbow. And then reverse that, right? So there's that muscle. This one's more straight. And then arm goes downwards. So and this muscles, these right here run into that. So it all ties into here together. And then, you know, the hand and all that. Okay. All right. So how do I draw, for example, somebody's arm that's kind of flexed a little bit and kind of flexing the bicep here, and let's say it comes out this way, so you have that tube, that circle for the shoulder. Tube comes out at you, so it's larger. Now, let's talk about perspective real quick, right? So if something comes at you, right, you got to find a point of view. So wherever that vanishing point is going to go to, it's going to come out of that vanishing point. I mean, it's going to get larger here and then smaller there, right? So think of it in terms of that cylinder like that. And in the end, you should have about the same thing happening to the muscles once you draw them. So, and then I'll have this right here coming out of that elbow. Okay, so there's that. So say he's, you know, gonna throw a punch or throw something, throw a ball. So he's bent. There's the neck. So he kind of pulled that arm back a little bit. So you pulling this bicep here, drawing it there, so it's shorter. So that's all right. And then out of the same area here, there's tricep, elbow here, right? And then from this same thing, so the shoulder, right? So the same thing happens. This delt is gonna pull back. So this right here, there's that small muscle. There's the big delt part. The rear delt is just gonna disappear. So we're talking about this is the neck, right? So this chest is gonna kind of slide right into the chest here. Okay. So once you have this come out of here, it's gonna kind of be smaller right there. So it's gonna get tighter, closer to the biceps. And then when it comes out here, it's gonna get a little larger, but not too much. You want to still keep proportions. Don't overdo it. Then you have the wrinkle here, a little bit of a, you know, bend. Wrist is gonna be turned, so thinner wrist, right? Not open, thinner. So this will be open hand. This is be side, right? So we thin the wrist a little bit. Then he's gonna put something in his hand, like he's gonna throw the ball, or whatever. Okay. And then pretty much just one line here, because this right here is soft muscle right here. Because it kind of looks soft because it's not really flexy. This right here will have muscles, yeah. You'll have some of this flexed. This. And in the end, when you start erasing things, you're going to start realizing, you know, okay, does it look right? I'm going to have that head turned sideways. Like he's looking that way. There, yeah. And then, you know, you can kind of plan the back behind it a little bit afterwards. So if it looks right to you, you know, stick with it. If not, you know, you can always fix things, turn things a little bit. All right. But other than that, so you kind of have the side view, the front view, the back in here, and a little bit of bend as well. The difference happens if For example, if you have, let's to a different page. If you have someone bending their arm this way, like somebody's holding a gun, right? Somebody's holding a gun. Some kind of a bigger gun. They have the other arm holding it too. So when you have that, this bicep is going to start looking a little different. All right, so you have this here, the chest be, sideways. You have the rear delt is really going to be flexed here. So they have the shoulder here, shoulder, shoulder blade kind of popping a little bit. So you have the strap here. Let's say it's a big guy. So you have this main delt, small one, chest. So we have all this. Now these right here are gonna get really flexed, right? But this guy is gonna be pretty much this. All right, it's not gonna be that big ball of muscle, like you see Arnold when he's flexing in the movie. There's not gonna be that. Okay, not in this case. So you have you gotta study. You really gotta study how muscles really react in a different motion in a different environment. And so in this case, that's what happens. And then you're going to have just draw out the elbow. This right here is going to get really flexed. So rely on that muscle here to create the coolness of what's happening here. And the tricep, yeah. This one's going to be active, but not as much as this forearm and this part right here. So that's where this attaches. This barely shows because where it is, how it flexed. This probably, most likely, this is going to lean next to the body, so it's going to flatten out a little bit. So it's not going to show a lot of roundness as it usually would. Now right here, this is where all that tricep part is. Cuts in this way, right? So this wraps around this little bulky muscle. If somebody is really muscular, it will show. And then this cuts either upwards, okay, or straight across. It's going to cut this off right here. And then you can kind of work with shadows and play around with it. Depends if it's a strong shadow, easier for you. Drop it down a little bit farther. Show some wrinkles, right? And then show some striations here. And then this right here is just going to start playing with the veins and all that, right? And then start getting into the gritty forearm muscle. Is going to be a whole lot of them. You can add more lines and cooler lines, whatever you feel like, really. If it's comics, you can play with that a little bit more. Nobody's going to stop you. However, if you want to get, really anatomically correct, just go, find somebody's arm. Find pictures of Rambo. Arnold. But Rambo held a lot of, machine guns and such. Stallone. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. See, kind of a little straighter, not as poking out as much. Okay, now this will happen when somebody, let's say it's a left arm. If he is holding or grabbing something like this, upwards, means hand is pointing upwards, right? The wrist is flexed upwards. It's going to give you more flex here. It's not naturally is proportional here. All right, so you have this. He's pulling on something or whatever, right? Then you're going to have this whole, yeah. this right here. You're gonna have nice, humongous bicep going here. It's just, you know, when the arm is this way, sideways like this, open, you're gonna have a trigger finger, you know, all those guys, right? And then, you know, wrapped around. So if you have this, or the hand is kind of downwards, fist is kind of pulled downwards instead of upwards. You know, hand is down instead of up like this right here. You're gonna have that kind of bicep. All right. So studying those little things really help. And this I don't have reference right now except for like some reference to who I might draw tonight. But find your own references, study those, get them into your head to the point where you can just do this without, you know, really trying to remember. It will just come to you naturally because you've drawn so many of them. But yeah, this is arms, guys. This is just a little bit of idea of arms and structure, and I'm just giving you the simple version. You can always go deeper with that in human anatomy books and study every single phalange on your hand and every single bone. Will it make you better comic book artist? Maybe. It would definitely help you understand anatomy better, which in the long run is going to give you a much better kind of a experience to when you start drawing things off the top of your head. You already know where you are and what you're doing. So you know, hopefully this helps a little bit. And with that said, these guys are done. Let me grab a decent piece of Bristol and we'll draw something. How quick? I don't know. Second. Okay. You know, trying to figure out how my lighting works best. But like, that's too bright. Trying to help you guys, but in streaming world, it seems to be still an issue to figure all this out. Let's see. Color correction contrast. Okay. Let's see. That might help. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. All right. Let's see here. Rubber. I usually start these. I use H as we discussed, and then I move on to something darker once I have it planned out. So these are the something. These guys are something I was planning on drawing, and I still debating on what to do here, but play with that real quick. So I have here practice. All right, so I was kind of thinking anybody can guess this character. I'm not sure, but something to show off the arms a little bit. This is my usual thought process here. Now you can go a little crazy with it. I'm gonna have him hold like you rip somebody's spine out or something. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like after drawing some arms, I'm kind of getting in the groove a little bit here. Figuring out what I want to do with the I'm sketching pit. Most likely this is gonna be it. He's got pretty large traps here, and added kind of a out of this world anatomy a little bit. So, but most of it is human. So more or less. And another thing to watch out for when you're drawing all this is which angle you're viewing it from, underneath, straight at him, whatever it is. So in the end, you can kind of like tell. Hey, Scoot Art, what's going on? I just wanted to say you've been killing it, man. Hey, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Um, means a lot, really. So in this case, I'm kind of like looking at it straight forward, slightly upwards. So you can't see as much detail up top here. Then anatomy here. We're going to discuss all that torso stuff later at some point, more details. I'm going to have him kind of stepping. And then we can decide, you can decide like, okay, do I want him to kind of really have that strong fist flexing, or, kind of gives you some options here. And then this bicep is going to be barely visible here, and some of this. So right now it doesn't look very stable to me. I'm looking down this way. It's like this right here. As cool as it may be, like it's gonna be traps. It's gonna be all the way back here. I mean lats. Traps right here. So as we're going back to that kind of like a gimbal approach here, there's this. It's kind of start figuring out. Leg is gonna be here. This one's gonna go more straight downwards here. So I'm kind of shrinking it down a little bit, like playing with what's gonna go where, and then he's gonna be standing up with all these creatures, kind of, you know. All kind of dead or whatever. I'm seeing reference of some of them. It looked like a little bit of aliens, but not really. Okay, I guess we can play with that a little bit. But yeah, I had the Bloodwulf over here that I was messing with, try to draw him, which was not. This was not a horrible pose, really. Then I'd have this one I was playing with, maybe drawing that one, which you know what, I might actually draw that one at some point. I kind of like this one too. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of an approach of what I do with the rough sketches before I even start drawing a big drawing. Yeah. So as much as I like Pit, look, find my guy. Bloodwulf reference just so I know what the custom to look like. I had a thought of drawing the old famous guy with the fin. You know what I'm talking about, right? Savage Dragon. Yeah. He also has really good arms character, so. Alright, so another half Bloodwulf. I mean, some of the sketches that Rob Liefeld does, some of the drawings of this character, it doesn't look as massive. And then they created that toy and he looks massive. I guess I could have done the Image Comics big guy. The one eye. Less eyes to draw, you know. Makes sense though. Makes sense. All right. All right, let's go ahead and mess with. All right, I'm gonna pose him. So when you go bigger, one thing, as we discussed before, you don't want you can't stay if your rough sketch is really good. Stick with it. And if your rough sketch is just like meh, you think you could do better, you know, try to kind of blank your mind out a little bit as well and just, you know, go with it, you know. But if you have an idea that's kind of, you know, close. Close to what you have like already figured. So I know I'm gonna do this and really roughen this here. His forearms are humongous, by the way. So. But it'll be trumped. It will be trumped by the forearm here. So. Look mad. Well, he has some ears, but I still use that, same kind of. He doesn't have a nose, so we don't have to worry about nose. Just do the wrinkles here. I'm just giving them a general idea. Dale Keown's creation here, so trying to do him justice. Here's that little circle we talked about here. There. Gauge. As we go. Takes as we're going kind of down arm. Make some certain areas bigger just because it's the character himself. His mouth is what sometimes bothers me. Gotta stick to the anatomy a little bit more and less innovation crap. I'm gonna do something cool. I just gotta stick to the script, I guess. Does have. But the purpose tonight is the arms, so. This does have a lot of hair though. It's like this man drew every single strand of them. I don't know. You know, I'm not looking at the actual like this. The whole sketch is my complete idea here, like the composition, all that, the pose of it. It's just I'm looking at the reference of his actual structure of his hair and all that in different images. It's like they really took their sweet time on every single thing, did they? Guess I could have made. And you know, once you mess around with it long enough, it's kind of, you know, starting to come together a little bit better. Straight line here. Just checking, make sure all the numbers are okay, and I'm still streaming live. It's such a boring pose. Such a boring pose. Not a part of my process. Getting the draw. Starting a new one. Going to the Bloodwulf that I initially figured I wanted to draw anyway. That's how sometimes just works out a little bit differently, and Let's go back and see what this character looks like a little bit. Okay. That here. There. That. We got all that color around his face. Like a little mask type of thing happening. Going around his mouth. We can deal with that. And like I said, it's a very gestural approach. Nothing fancy schmancy here. Bracelets here. And definitely has a couple of these things coming up. In his fingers. I am gonna clothe him a little bit. Of course, he does have a vest on of some sort here. here. Kind of goes backwards a little, not instead of goes towards the top rather than downwards. Notice that. Different ways to trade it. So real tight pen, of course. Something. Knife. It does usually have one. You can put some bracelets on him as well. With here though, it's with his little jacket, you're gonna lose a little bit of. He's gonna have some kind of a gun, rifle thing. They're behind him. Another thing that muscle does here is gets a little crease here. Depends on how that's flexed, how much muscle mass they have. So we can keep the abs a little bit, I guess, but we do need to give him a belt here. That's it's a lot more fun here than the previous drawing. This stage right here is kind of most artists anyway would clean it up a little bit and like erase things, and which I'll try to do here in a second. Oh, we're going for about an hour. Ooh, time. Okay. I'm actually drinking tea, not coffee. All right. Bleifeld's Bloodwulf. All right, so I'll go over it with like a kneaded eraser. That's why I was cleaning it. So, especially if I was to ink this, so get rid of some. I would stay with a lighter pencil the whole time. But for the stream's sake, what's up? What's going on, Rick? How you doing, Rick? Rick Saylor is in the house. What's going on, Rick? Yeah, man, I'm just did a little bit of education in the beginning of this, and now I'm drawing Bloodwulf. I've never drawn him before, so something new for me. You know, since the dude does have some massive arms, you know. So yeah. But yeah, on the for usual drawing, I will stay with like a H at the most, and then when I try to refine and get good dark lines, I'll go over with the mechanical HB pencils. I'm about to do. Um, this is just this. There you go. That's better angle for you guys. There's kind of an idea here. All right. Let's see what happens with him. In the end, anyway. Gonna have to give him a little bit of hair too on his arms. The detail calls for. So a little bit of mechanical pencil here. I have a bunch of these. All right, and bring it down a little. Got a few. A little bit here and give him a hairier eyebrows. Lines. Certain things I draw for as a guide. Just a little bit help. In, out. Figure out his whole scheme here. That. That's better. Reference. Same facial structure, just it's going to be colored differently if it was to be colored, you know. There. My first ever Bloodwulf. I mean, the rifle has to sit somewhere, right? Be hanging by something, not by a thread. Gusto. So yeah, now I'm kind of really refining and adding those extra details. Like I said, I was talking about that smaller muscle, delt, part of the delt right here. But it's right here is going to look like this. That kind of goes when your arm stretches out, it kind of rolls right into that and becomes straighter line. Funny bone right there. Now with some shading, adding a few little touches and making it extreme. Like the Extreme Studios by Rob Liefeld. And here's where you can play with anatomy, and if you know it well, you can always add, subtract, and things like that. You can always do that. It's part of it. Let me show. Okay. Good to me. Make sure we're still live and still good to go. All right. All right. Colored thing here. Have some hair kind of fold over as a result. Or we can avoid that and just, this is going to be goofy. Pull over shorter. Start and go. Give him a few more hairs than he probably has, but what is fun if we can't do that and alter a few things with our own. Still stick it, sticking to the main properties of the character. Dennis, what's up, buddy? Made it before it's over. Yeah, I got another 40 minutes or so to go. Yeah, I'm hanging out here. I watched the replay, but cool schedule. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's Bloodwulf here. Yeah. We'll get to that later. All right, so we'll get very taking fun with this as well if we wanted to. Keeping perspective intact. Put that position there and just all right. Trying to make sure I was gonna have it wrapped with something. Look like he's wrapped it with something. But we know that his wrap over here is a bit nicer. His vest is straight right. Like I said, I have to give him some hair on his arms, right? All right, so. Paint kind of here. Whatever it's exposed, give it that. Some here, some more, some less. A little bit on the top of the skin here. Less veins. Since he's a bit of a another thing kind of keep in mind, I guess, is that character has fur on him. Might want to not show as much veins as a character that has more skin exposed. Just a thing that you might want to watch out for. guess, you know, because fur will hide some of that, some of those veins. And here's where we're gonna go. Start getting away a little bit for the anatomy. Just play with whatever is looking cool. Очень круто. Thank you, Yuko. 3569, appreciate it. Спасибо большое вам. He says very cool in Russian, though, in case you guys want to know. Shadows. And we will discuss torsos and such later. Well, keep that in mind. I wonder. Put some pouches here. Cover up the belt. Ripped something. That pouch. One's behind there. You can see it very well. Hiding. I'm gonna raise up finger. Does this and then wraps around in there, right? So there, here. I wish I could get a little closer there. A little bit. All right. Then, yeah. Thing. How I visualize things. There. Then really flexing the fist. Things get drunk and here. So from here, where you see this and this goes straight into the knuckle. Knuckle rises upwards, so you can't see as much as foreshortened, and this guy is right there with the thumb. Okay. And I'm assuming I don't think I've ever seen open fist on this character. So let's give him some claw, like a little bit of a claw for a name. That's that. So that we're gonna see this a little bit. We're gonna see this. Knuckle here. Knuckle up top. Nice. And fingers. So in one of the images drew or somebody drew. necessarily these kind of knives, but something along. On tendon. Don't put too many there. Just watch out. Don't get too crazy with them. I mean, you, but I'll stick. No, there's just the two in the middle for sure. So you got these, right? You know, and there's the fist. I've been watching some of your older videos while I color. I got 3 pages done today. Oh, that's awesome. Having your videos on helps a lot. The last was the Dragonborn video from a few years ago. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that was your choice too, wasn't it? Yeah, good times, man. Sure. Who's? I remember I used to let people choose. With this, it's kind of harder to do. Somebody else's choose. Kind of be right. But those older videos, man, I remember I started around Halloween that one year. Started streaming stuff, and yeah, there's some growing pains, I'll tell you that. But fun as well. Put this kind of through here and then dip a little bit right here. That can't show it on the camera, so it's right here. This one, right there, forearm. Soft part we're talking. Biceps, tricep, turtles under. Like I said, not as many. Have you anybody seen Pitt? Where I almost drew Pitt. If anybody's seen Pitt, I mean Pitt, he's got muscle on top of muscle next to a muscle wrapped in a muscle, and some muscles that don't exist, which is kind of cool. Weird, like here. Something that he can punch and maybe he doesn't really have that, but I feel like putting that. So yeah, that's so far. Pull back now, I guess. Pull back. Gosh, it's getting brighter and brighter every minute. What if I turned it off? Too dark? Hopefully this will help. My arm's gonna be super dark now. Oh gosh. Yeah. Can't help it. Mellow, what's going on? Not Bloodwulf looking not Bloodwulf looking good. Thank you. Yeah, definitely Bloodwulf. Haven't drawn him ever, so trying to figure out this camera thing though. And pull back on brightness. Let's see if that helps. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, still woo, super dark here. Anywho, whatever. We'll finish this one. See how it goes later. All right. So we have this guy here. How much good is it? One comes out over the top. Forearm. This. Okay. Anywho, then way you can create like a box here. Perspective box. Work from that as well. Cut this one short. Wrap that around. Something like that. Anyway. Because this would have been bent and run over if you bend it. So we kind of you have to extend it a bit. The rest of them kind of follow the suit coming out of there. That's the wraparound muscle there underneath the bone. Henry, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream, buddy. Oh, yeah. Not much. All right. Yeah, well, now you have something going on. You're watching my stream. That's awesome. And I appreciate it very much. Details can come in later. All right. So I don't know. I don't know what he has on his belt, if he has anything, but I'm some kind of wolf looking down, head looking of the wolf, something like that. I don't know. Just for fun today, anyway. Not gonna mess with it too much. So we're gonna say he looks like he's sued. This is the fun part about this comic thing. That you can add things on the fly anytime you feel like it. Not overdrawn too deep, too dark, too much. So right here, I'm gonna have a bit of a. I'm just gonna put it on one side. I know I think he has on both sides, but let's do it on this side. That's it. So oval here. So shotgun shells, something like that. And I feel like change the perspective of these. So he's got. Okay. Refining, I guess, comes later, but I'm not gonna have enough time for trying to find what else he's got. Yeah, all kinds of pockets. I'm not gonna give him pockets. I like to show him some muscle here. A little more here and there. All right, let's get back to that fist here. Tell you what, those shotgun shells look kind of funky over there. All right, let's finish this knife here. Knife design, all mine, kind of ragged looking. Old knife. Seen some action over the years. But kind of close to what his original design, sort of some of the parts of it anyway. Have some wrap too. Be consistent with experiments here. Idea. Wraps around there. These fingers on this. Those gotta kind of stick out a little bit. Just because you see it everywhere. You can wrap them all around. It just looks a little boring, but that's why they always do one kind of finger. and a thumb. Of course. Here's a little bit. Gotta give it that roundness. Since we're squeezing something, get the roundness a little bit of the hand right here. Thumb's gonna wrapped around there, so we won't see it very much at all. And this little on the leg, like it for some more tactical purposes, pouches and such, you know. Shadows is gonna fall down this way, so play with that. And we'll touch up on lighting and such and all those things later. Later streams and lighting and whatever I haven't covered yet. What are you guys talking about? What's in the Bloodwulf's right hand? A sword. It's kind of like a knife. Since the perspective here, it's like a longer knife. Yeah. I only remember him with from that one comic. Oh yeah. Not. I guess not many portrayals of him there is. That's why I was just like, you know what? Rob did have like a even EMDs did a cover of him on something. I remember when they were coming out with which book, but they all did like a version of guy Bloodwulf. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a whirl. Why not? You know, it's fun. It's fun anyway, and just somebody to draw that has quite a bit of larger arm. We can always make somebody else. Hulk has huge arms. I just don't want to draw somebody really known. And I wanted to draw somebody indie. Knuckles. Knuckles. We're going to make it lighter, so has to determine that underneath there is the shadows. There too. Fingers as well. On his hands. I feel like shortening it a little bit. See how that'll look. Always do that. Kind of don't worry about, oh, I gotta draw it later or whatever. Yeah. Do it as much as you want. Change things. I'm bringing this elbow up a little. Cutting that. Cutting down some of that tricep. here. Yeah. We can put a thumb out there just to make it look more fun. Like anatomically, it's still correct. Have the thumb down like that. You know, that's okay. Some glutes showing here a little bit, and then legs and start coming out that. Bent. This. Quad. Old school armor. Just identify where the light's gonna hit. Shadow wraps around the shape, so oval like that. I like to shade accordingly. Source. So then later you can get it darker where you need to. Light source. Yeah. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Doug Bacon? Hey, Vic. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. A very quiet, less talkative one. Now that I'm kind of done instructing things and sketching more or less than talking. Oh, sorry about that. I don't wrist things. Give it a shape by shading. Light is and it's this. The little Rob Liefeld tree. Go. So he's got this suit way tight, so he is abs and such, which is fine, right? Fine, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, and we'll discuss the way I draw fabric, but you guys can learn a lot better that from probably David Finch. Has really good informative videos on how to draw fabric and such. I believe it's still free, right? On his David Finch. But you know, just find that area wherever you got the things pulling, whatever, wrapped around, tighter, whatever you got going on. That out. Do that treatment. Just cut them off a little bit. Here, a little bit up, maybe a bit. That, you know. Here you go. Some of that little extra fabric bunched up by the knee, where the knee bands, and this way. But overall, the drawing is kind of working now. This arm is kind of approaching out a little bit, kind of coming out a little slightly towards us, and you know, larger. This one's slightly back and a little bit smaller, but not by much really. And then we can throw this right here. Here we go. As this kind of, since this knee pad pulls away forward like this one does, we imagine that the shadow from this kind of hits slightly behind it, so it doesn't really overlap that as much. You can play that off, you know. It's not a huge deal. But there's the sketch. What do we got? What time we got now? That's almost approaching a couple hours. There you go. Let's play with drawing a little bit of the hair here, just so you guys can see what's happening with the hair. And see, turn your paper a lot of times, you know, like direction you want that to grow better. Like my lines are straighter and more consistent coming from left to right. A little curvier when it goes to right to left. Since we have a light source. Identifiable coming from this area kind of this way. We can fade it all up if we want to. Let it come back to the eraser a little bit. And you know, kind of do this. So it gives us a bit of a light here. The area a little more forward. Have a different. Not doing the job here. So trusty thicker lead, darker. Yeah, like that. More or less. One thing I don't, that strong line in the middle there separating the hair, right? That's just awkward look. So get rid of that. Work around some of these. That working is not working. There you go. Okay. Texture etching. Here we forgot. Notice I did not put hair all over entire arms and such. It just doesn't make sense to do that. Just you don't need it. Give it an idea, and you know, leave it there if it works. Or hair later or something. Paste and I missed some stuff. Trends. Kind of give it a little volume. And call that my dark shading pencil. There you go. Identify some things, values, and shading it accordingly. same. Okay. That. Yeah. Because it's really not gonna lay there. Shadow. I brought it forward that way. It's more gonna go that way, the shadow right here. So I try to put it this way. This doesn't make sense. And so it looks like it's wrapped around that way and goes up. So we won't see it as much. So, oh. I think we have to. Okay. Extra. There we go. So just a little sketch here. I'm not gonna finish it completely, just leave it there. But for you guys, a little different approach to the arms. One arm that way, one arm this way, but some things changed a little bit probably. Like for example, I feel like right here, like if I was to change something, I would play with the idea of bringing this bicep here a little bit more. All right. While I see it, let's do that. So I'll bring the bicep down here a little bit, then give that tricep, bit of that. So you see more on the inside here. So this right here will be the crease. Because the biceps kind of two pieces of whatever separated. If you ever seen Ronnie Coleman, you'll see it the best. But yeah, I'll probably turn it, twist it a little bit like this. See if that works a little bit better. If not, I'll change it back. Feel like it goes there, yeah. There. Feel like it will work kind of nicely there. Change a few things. And then keep shading, keep working it out. Yeah. I love it. Oh, thank you, Christian. Oh, so hold on. Who is this? Christina? I can't see it. Hey, Christina Kelly. Haha. Hey, welcome to the stream. I didn't see if you were here yet, but I appreciate that. Thank you. My screen is shrunk to the smaller size, so I could not even see the name. Bad. But yeah, thank you. But yeah, see, when you start looking at things and try changing it, kind of reviewing it a little bit, you're like, okay, something will look better this way and that way, and start twisting it around a little bit, and find it that, you know, oh, this works better. This works better, whatever, right? And change it, erase it, redraw it, whatever you got to do. Don't give up on it. If you give up on it, draw it again on a different paper, something. Start over. I've done it so many times. Still, I'm trying to keep drawing, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't stop. But I do need to chill out for a minute for bedtime. Yeah. All right. Anyway, close enough. Well, here you go, guys. We discussed structure of hands, arms on the papers are over there, but and we of course decided to sketch this guy after all this fun rough sketching I did earlier before the stream. I just did this one on the stream. Thinking about drawing Pit, but then I was like, you know what, stick to my guns and draw this guy here. So there he is. My first ever drawing of sketch, not finished drawing, but I'll sign it anyway. First ever drawing of Bloodwulf, creation of Rob Liefeld. Shadows of the hair. I know, I can't stop. I just gotta keep adding. I'm glad you guys stopped by and everybody came and supported my channel and the stream. I will try my best to find a way to kind of have a straighter shot at the drawing next time. It's kind of hard to figure out all my stuff here, the way it's all set up. But we'll see what we can do. And maybe it'll work out next time. But stop by tomorrow on Sunday. On Sunday, we're gonna be streaming our group stream with the guys on Nerdy Musings, and I'll be co-streaming on my channel, so you'll see that too on here. And thanks, Dennis. Thank you. And yeah. Hope to see you guys on Sunday night. We'll hang out. There's a bunch of us drawing around, just different characters and such. I'm not sure what we're drawing this Sunday, but I'm sure it'll be something fun. I might work on another sketch cover for Lobo. Why not? The first one I did recently, I just posted, guys. It's sold, so if anybody was looking to buy it, have to disappoint. So that one's gone. But I have 2 more sketch covers, blank ones coming tomorrow, I think, and I have 1 in my studio. So I'll be drawing that one probably tomorrow on the stream. Sunday. Sorry, not tomorrow, Sunday. About 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Yeah, I think that's the time. And otherwise, guys, I will see you all soon. Thanks for hanging out. And get you guys on next Friday on this solo show. Where we're discussing different anatomy and other things related to comics and how to draw it. Oh, awesome, Max, you did. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Chris, thanks so much, man. Glad you guys came and hung out. Hope everybody has a good night and rest of your weekend. See you on Sunday on the other stream. See if I can find a way to